Well, I grew up in a rugged life. My parents used to party a lot, but I used to find roaches and I used to see them how they smoke. So I tried out when I was 8, and I sniffed gas when I was 7, 8, 9, like around 10, yeah. And so when I was 13, I started smoking weed every other day after that. And I was drinking too. I was really bad off drinking when I was younger. And I just started drinking, and so when I was getting hungover, they were talking about these pills, C-Rax, Valiums, and it'll help my when I hungover. And I started taking those. And when I was 17, I got into a car accident. I broke my back, and started prescribing me Indosits. They're called perks in the streets, and that's opiates. And from then, I started taking opiates from perks, snorting them. 2006, I started injecting Dilaudid, hydromorphine, morphine, Oxycontin. Anything that I could feel the rush from that pill, I took it. Rough life. Started off rough, but I've been trying though. I've been in and out of rehabs. I think I was in 17 rehabs since I was 16.
When I was 21, one of my younger brothers, he committed suicide, and I found his body in my basement. Kind of just pushed me over the edge, right? And I started using drugs heavily, drinking, trying to numb it because I had so much trauma. I went through so much trauma, and I started using the booze and the drugs real heavy. And then Micmac family intervened in my life. I had 2 children at the time, and they took my kids from me, right? Because I was too bad off, and so I signed myself into the Mi'kmaq Lodge in October of 2009. That was a few months after my brother passed away. While I was in there, I was in my 2nd or 3rd week. My boyfriend that I was with that time, my father of my 2 children, he also committed suicide in the same house, in the same spot. My nephew at the time, he was 17 years old. He actually committed suicide in Waikagama. With a gun, he shot himself in the head, and he was 17, and he passed away. And it was just one after another with the deaths, like the suicides. I didn't have time to grieve for anybody, and after I had my 3rd baby, I relapsed, and I went hard into the booze and the drugs again. But I would never wish the life or the things that I've had happen to me on anybody, especially my children. I never want my children to experience the things that I've experienced. Like my father being murdered when I was 4, I always wanted my boys, I always wanted my children to have their father. And then when their father went and committed suicide, I was like, man, really? You know what I mean? But it was easier for me to comfort them, right? When they cry for him, I cry with them. And I tell them, it's okay to cry, And I try to just, be the best I can be. I'm just it's okay, he's in heaven now, he's in God's arms, nobody can ever hurt him again, and he loved you, and he loved me, and it's okay to cry, and it's okay to miss him, you're gonna miss him forever. I told him, my dad died a long time ago, and I'm a grown woman, and I'll still be sitting there crying for my dad. You're gonna cry for him, you're gonna miss him forever, but one of these days we're all gonna be together again, when we pass, because we all go to the same place.
I was addicted to drugs for, I would say about 7 years, but exclusively IV use for about 2 or 3 years. Yeah, and I found out I was pregnant with my first baby. And I jumped on. I had gotten a bit at detox that same week.
First of all, they're Mi'kmaq. They're our own members. Either they're a brother or a sister, a cousin, aunt, an uncle, you know. And a drug addiction is a disease. It's a disease that has a cure. We have to understand that, and it's evident other people that I know had that disease and received a cure from our own medicines, from our own services, from the help from the people, you know, and from our Creator.
We're here not to tear people down, but to build them up. And the only way we're going to build them up is treat each other with kindness. Until we learn that, we're going to be stagnant in the water.
I just celebrated my 29 years of sobriety on January 1st. It was one hell of a journey. When I first got married, we didn't have any of this. We didn't even know what addictions were. We didn't know we were addicted to booze. So every day is a learning experience. We're all, each and every one of us in this community are affected by somebody in your family or extended family that have these problems with addictions. And it doesn't help if you're closed-minded or, you know, you have to be open-minded and have an open heart and just help out as much as you can in any way. And I think education, you're never too old to learn something new.
I miss my friends, my old friends. I miss my family, and I lost a lot of friends, good friends, death, murder, suicide, OD. I just had to, before suicide, before I get sick. I mean, everything just crashed up on me, and I just had to quit, and I did it. The reason why I quit, there's a lot of reasons. I mean, I could keep going on and on and on, but I mean, that's the most important things right now is my children. I want to raise my children. I want to be a father. I mean, I just don't want to be a dad. I want to be a father, raise my children, and I can't do that while I'm using.
I think it all came to light more so the seriousness of our addiction and mental health issues was back in 2008, 2010, when we were dealing with a lot of accidental deaths and suicides that had impacted our community tremendously. And it began a momentum of the community members begin to address those issues. We looked at the services that we were providing in our community, but we also looked at the gaps in those services. And we talked to youth, we talked to elders, we talked to many people in the community around what and where we needed to go.
I think that each community, each tribe, each region, you know, they have to customize within their own area if they think what will work for them. That's what we did. We failed miserably many times before we got it right. We lost other people from overdose. We lost other people from suicides. People gave up because we didn't have the services, we didn't have the knowledge at the time. Actually, I was first introduced to harm reduction from my wife. At the time, she was a nurse. And this was probably a little bit over 10 years ago. And she was going to many conferences out west and along with her colleagues, and she introduced me about harm reduction, how the leadership, how she needs the leadership in the community to work with the nurses, community nurses in Eskasoni, and that's how we found out. At first, I was skeptical about it. I wasn't just educated about it, but after she told me the stats, the statistics of the possible causes of what can happen if the community and if the community health center, if they don't do anything soon, that we can face repercussions of the spreading of many diseases that caused by, it could be Hep C or it could be AIDS, HIV.
We had a little resistance at first, like with the community, like we were trying to advertise, like we're gonna start a harm reduction program, and people within our community, they're like saying we're making people use more. That's what they're thinking. And then, so we had to go out and educate our community, and we still do, like all the time. And just to let them know we're preventing all these diseases by giving out the clean rigs. So we started it. It started off really, really slow, and like we probably had maybe 2 people a month or something. So we made these business cards, and it advertised like what we did. We made posters, and so we finally started getting more and more people in our program.
Whoever had a rig, okay, you used it.
And people don't care as long as they get that rush. Like they'll use a dirty rig. I seen people do it, and I seen people get sick from it. And since they got this here, I do believe they saved a lot of people from getting Hep C, HIV, AIDS.
I like that they get to come here and interact with a nurse because we show them that we care about them. We're non-judgmental. We give them what they need, and then we give them more. We, ask them, like, how's it going? And that can open up a door to, you don't know what you're gonna see. Like, it could be an abscess, it could just be something they're dealing with that day, or they wanna get into a program. Like, once they're in the door and it's shut, like, you don't know what's gonna happen, but usually it's pretty, like, productive in here for them. They don't always get to go somewhere where they're not gonna get judged to receive services.
It's about being accepted in the community, and that little moment that we're spending with each and every individual, client or not, what we're doing is we're talking, we're subtly talking to them, and when you're ready, we're here for you. Whichever supports, whether it be referral, our own counseling, some of the programs we have here at the health center. So
I find they don't judge people, like, because that hurts, right? You walk in, ask for needles. I mean, that's not an ordinary thing, right? But when I was getting them, they didn't judge me at all. They actually helped me, and they didn't push it to sober up, or you know what I mean. But they mentioned it, and I listened, and yeah, I strongly believe that the staff at Eskasoni Health Center, they're doing an excellent job. They're doing an excellent job.
I'm very proud of my community. We do have a good hand in what goes on in the community, and people are very caring that work here. They go the extra mile to help. We have a lot of, like any other community, we do have a lot of problems with addictions, and I don't think addictions are a new thing anyway, so it's just a matter of knowing how to deal with it and how to take care of the people that have addictions and to protect the ones that are living in the community. Like, I like that program of needle exchange, because the children were actually picking them out of the garbage and they were found on a beach. That's not good. And now we have this program, the needle exchange, and they have a place where they can dispose of them.
I always talk about methadone too, because that gave me a good start, like to stay sober. Like I was on methadone for 2 years before I weaned myself on that, because that's when I never touched no drugs for 2 years. So I weaned myself off methadone, and I stayed sober for another 4.5 years without it.
The methadone program is a really good program. I mean, I got good things about it and bad things about it, right? But I've seen a lot of good things, more positive things than negative, right? So that's why I joined in the methadone program, and it actually saved my life. And if it was here, and it will help out in this community big time. I know it. Because I asked around before, right? And a lot of people would say, if it was here, I'd sober up. Because a lot of them just don't want to just go in Sydney every day. But a lot of them said, yeah, if they had an Eskasoni, they'd sober up. And you know what I mean? It's sad to see them today, they're also using, you know what I mean? And,
a lot of people are still against it, but a lot of people support it too once they see that people that are on methadone, they're doing really good. Like they get their families back, they do so good for the community, like they'll volunteer and just to get their reputation back, like their sense of belonging, they'll help out. And so a lot of our community members are slowly just looking at the positive sides of the methadone that our clients are on.
I see methadone as a way is you're trying, you're getting yourself help. And if you need methadone to get yourself help, that's great. If you come to our program while on methadone, that's okay.
I do believe that talking about it more will educate the people, you know what I mean? And really, I do strongly believe that it's important, yes. Like with me, with my mother, my sisters, they don't know about it, you know what I mean? And they're still like, and what I'm getting educated, we're doing a group session every week for methadone, and whatever I learn, I tell my sisters and my mother a little bit about it, you know what I mean? Because I want them to understand about it, so it's really important to openly talk about it more, yeah.
I got pregnant, yeah, and I didn't want to raise a baby in that kind of lifestyle. Like, I didn't want to have to lose her ever. Like, I didn't want to have to walk away from her and tell her, this is more important to me. They mean everything to me, really. Like, every day they wake up happy, and that's all I want to do is to keep them happy. They're good kids, and I think they deserve a chance. And I wish, like, I have family members that are still using, and they have kids, and they can't put them first, and it's so sad. And then they come around, and they just want to be held, or talked to, or listened to, and that's all you can do for them. And hope that maybe someday the mom will wake up and do her part, step up and be the mom she wishes she had. Yeah.
My kids, like my oldest, he said something to me, and it just kind of hit a nerve, right? It made me feel bad, like, you know, I was numb because I was on so much drugs and everything, but the look in his eyes is what killed me. He said, you love alcohol and you love booze and drugs more than you love me. And he told me that he hated me. And after they left from their visit that day, like, I just kind of sat in an empty apartment. It was so quiet, and I was sick, and his words just kept going through my head, like, you love the alcohol and the drugs more than me. And I just, you know, I put my foot down that day, and I said, you know, enough is enough. Like, I can't do this to my boys anymore. They don't deserve this. They don't deserve all the things that I put them through their whole lives. Like, they've been through so much, my two oldest especially, like, with their dad committing suicide. Like, they don't even know that he committed suicide yet. They're 10 and 9, and all I told them was when they asked me how he died, I just told them that Daddy was sick in the head, And the only way he could get better was to go home to God, so God could hold him and make him better. So that's what I told them, and that's all they know. That's, you know what I mean? And I thought about all the things like over the past 10 years that I've done to everybody in my family, like my mom and my kids and my siblings and like my partners, and you know, I've done so many horrible things to them, and I don't want to be that person anymore. I'm not that person. It's the alcohol and the drugs that it makes me different, and I don't like who I am when I'm on it.
I have seen a lot of success stories in my own eyes. There's a large number of people who've been to that, you know, rock bottom they call it, been to the program, and many of them end up in the ceremonies that I see many in. And there's other people that got their children back, got their house back. They got a job. We have people that are working now, helping the addicts. So we see a lot of that. So what we're doing is working. The interagency we have within the community, from the police, from the Native Alcohol and Drug Abuse Counseling Association, the crisis team, the children's services, they're all working together to make sure the families come back together, make sure the addict gets the help they needed. They have all the support in there, and again, the onus is on them, and we try our best to provide the services they need.
Yeah, change is possible. Like, anybody can be whatever they want to be in this world. I really believe that. I wish I had stayed in school, but I plan on going back someday. Like, I want to build a beautiful life for them, even if it's just us three. Like, if it's just us, then as long as we're happy, I'll feel like a successful mom.
With my work with the survivors, we're getting into the descendants and treating the impact. It gives the descendant a chance to really learn why they are like that today, from telling them about the experiences that we've had. And while having these experiences in the residential school is using what we learn from them onto our children and passing it on. We were treated in such a violent way, that's the only way we knew how to raise children, is the way we're raised. So in order to break the chain, we ourselves have to change. And in the process of changing us, we change our children. Hey, to go back to the old way. Hey, even when I was a child before residential school, I never got hit, never got hollered at. Okay? But once I hit the residential school, I think within the third day of being there, I got a beating for speaking my language. I was in trouble to begin with. I couldn't speak English. But today, working with the youth and letting them know what the elders of the community had gone through with the residential school, now they have a better understanding what the elder went through. We had lost the language, we lost the culture, so it all had to come back. And it's my job to help these survivors get their culture back, and in a lot of instances, their language. We're working with the kids now, okay? Because that's the way they destroyed us. They started with the kids, stripped them of their culture, their language.
My culture is really important with my recovery. I got into it really more by smudging, the sweat lodge, talking circles.
The power of the sweat just, I don't know, it's like, it's crazy. Like, I can be having the worst day, like everything could just be going wrong, left, right, and center, and then once I get into the sweat and I start singing and I start praying and just, it all comes out, right? And like I pray to Creator to fill me with positivity and happiness and peace, and to take all my anger and resentments and any bad feelings that I have and just take them from me and give me, you know, good stuff, and that's what happens. When I come out of this sweat, I come out feeling like a brand new person, like I even forget why I was having a bad day, why I was mad, or why I was upset.
Always look after your spirit. Your spirit gets weak just like your body. So you have to feed that spirit. But our spirit doesn't eat food just like we do. It's our prayers for our spirit that feed that spirit to make it stronger. And in order for them to keep it strong, they have to stay away from alcohol and drugs. But the kids in our community have to learn this and believe it. It's one thing hearing it and them saying, yeah, I heard that before, and just walk away. The kid has to believe it and believe in himself or herself.
With this program, with these kids, we're teaching them to be proud of who they are. We're teaching them their own culture. We're celebrating their culture. We're celebrating their language from a very young age, right from preschool to kindergarten all the way to grade 5. And by the time they're in kindergarten, they're extremely proud of who they are. They're confident, they're proud, they speak the language, they know who they are. Their foundation of their self-identity is unbreakable. So imagine what they can accomplish going forward and going forward into the world where they're not going to have the same baggage what we had growing up. They're not going to have the same issues of self-identity, self-esteem. They're going to be comfortable with who they are. They're going to go into the world, stay in who they are, and they're going to follow the right path.
We still find a way that culture plays a key role in this. The ceremonies, spirituality, from our ancestors, from our language, songs, traditions, it works. And if people go back to their ways and they find themselves, they find their identity again, you know, it helps that person, it lifts that person.
It's very important to keep our culture alive, and we have to speak our language. Just our language alone, it comes with culture. As long as you have the language, we need our language. I always tell my children, I said, if Chinese lose their language, they go home to China. French, they go home France. I said, if we lose our language, where do we go? This is it.
It takes a whole community. It takes a whole, all the departments, all the services within the community. We have a model that we made, our own unique model that we felt that it'll work for our community. And there were a lot of trial and errors. There were, again, we couldn't rely on government anymore because we weren't getting the funding that we needed. So we had to be creative. And it had to be built from us because we're the only ones who know our own people. So I advise leader, we can share the models, and we should be open about that. We should be transparent amongst our communities, what works and what doesn't work. Because we're all similar across the country, all the First Nation community, we're all similar, right? We're dealing with the beast here, it's difficult, but as Indigenous communities across this country, we have to really come together because those people need help. So people will get their lives back, they'll get their houses back, they'll get their children back, so they'll start working and get educated. And again, that's where the cure is. It's within our own communities, it's coming from our ancestors.
It's nothing easy getting off of it and staying clean. Even the addicts I work with now, when they clean up, I tell them, I expect you to fall. But if you fall, don't let it get to you. Just start over again. Forget about how you felt. Yeah? Forgive yourself for falling and start over. It's not the end of the world.
Well, I wish somebody would have told me that no matter how far you go down the wrong path, you could turn around, turn your whole life around.
There's really no excuse for anyone to suffer. We have mental health, we have a crisis center, we have, my God, just about everything at your fingertips. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call.
I had nothing, but I had faith and hope, and just keep your head up and ask for help and you'll get it. And I always tell everybody, just one day at a time, just one day at a time. It helped me out, and I'm pretty sure it helped them out.
If you're at rock bottom, you can't go any further down. The only way is to go up. And trust me, talk to the people who you knew were users, and today you see them, they fixed themselves and they got their life back. Talk to them. The onus is on them. The services are there. We're all here, and to lend one of your hand. I understand it's a very painful process to try to get sober, but once you go over that hump, it's I believe that they can come together and with the support from our Creator, from our God, and again from our elders, that they will find a way. And like many other people who did the same thing, don't give up, man.
There's so many things you could do with your time. Make every second count like it was something that would make you go. You're exactly where you need to be when things change on a dime. Without a safety net, get set to let your real potential show. Be the best you.
What would truly make you happy? The thing you wanna make it last. Would you leave your fate to others when they say die's been cast? Unpacking all that baggage, and now you're putting it away. When you face that storm again, you'll make it through the rainy day.
Is that the best you? Is that the best?